I'm going to show you a recipe for an easy beef hot pot, and it's a real one that you can feed and all the family will enjoy. So what I've done is using some mince. I've browned it off. I'm going to explain that in a moment. And this is the Simply Better mince that I'm using. So it's the Irish Angus Board Bia quality assured. It comes from Ballinrobe, way over in County Mayo, the butcher's there. So all I've done is browned it off. So I actually have 2 packets of the mince browned off, and that takes about 10-15 minutes, just with a little bit of rapeseed oil. So I've left the pan and we're going to start the whole process. It's a very, very quick hot pot this. So I'll heat up the pan again, a little bit more oil, and I'm going to put in 1 diced onion. I'm going to show you how to chop some carrot and celery, and then some smoked bacon, and I'm just going to literally pop that in. So the key is when you're doing the mince is don't put the 2 packs in. Do 1 pack at a time and then brown it off. Keep stirring it, kind of break it up a little bit, and that's the key into having really melt in the mouth hot pot. So a little bit of onion. You can put garlic into this. I'm keeping really, really simple. Smoked bacon, and I'm using the Simply Better whiskey dry cured streaky rashers. You see me using that on so many recipes. So I'm just going to let that just start to cook and process just there for a moment. So I'll move this out of the way, and I'm going to show you then just about a little bit of chopping. So we're going to chop some carrots and also a little bit of celery. So if you just peel the carrots, and I'm just going to literally cut it in half. So using a big knife, put pressure on it, and then we're going to cut this into some cubes. So hold it either side. Can you see the technique? And then you chop it. So you just chop it, keep the flat side down, never take your eyes off what you're doing. That's 1 carrot chopped, and then we'll do the other. So knife skills are, for me as a chef, very important, but it's all about practice and about keeping your knives nice and sharp, watching what you're doing, curving your fingers. You've seen me hopefully showing you that tip before. Celery is a beautiful vegetable. In a soup, in a puree, it is absolutely gorgeous. I'm just going to stop, and I'm going to come over here to the pan. We're going to have a little look at this. So it's catching all those lovely kind of sediment. Just a tiny little bit more oil. Keep the skillet pan, or if you're using a casserole pot, doesn't matter, nice and high. So we're just, the smell of that smoky bacon, trust me, it gives so much beautiful flavour. So back onto our celery. We're going to literally just cut this again, and we're going to dice it. So bring it all together, and then just literally, the proper name for this is called a brunoise, or a mirepoix can we call it either, because it's kind of not too small and it's not too big. Remember, the bigger you cut it, the longer it's going to take to cook. That's exactly it. And you could put celeriac and all that into it if you wanted to. Now we're going to bring over your board and just literally slide in your vegetables. So you could of course put in some garlic in there. I'm not. I'm keeping it really, really simple. So I'm just going to let that just cook there just for a little minute, just to get all the flavours combined. So the key is browning off the mince. I can't emphasize that enough. So that takes about 10-15 minutes. This is still warm, so I've kind of broken it up a little bit. I'm going to use a can of the tomatoes here. So these are the San Marzano tomatoes. These are the best. These are the chopped tomatoes. They also do the plum tomatoes. And the plum tomatoes, they're from the same region, same variety of tomatoes. They have the PGI status, which means protected geographical indication. There's something about Italian tomatoes. It's the sun, it's the volcanic soil. They're just unique. Worcester sauce, it's got to be essential in this. I recently made a nice sauce for the Simply Better steaks, a steak Diane, a sauce my mother made and taught me how to make, and she would have used this a lot in stews and mince. It's definitely a store cupboard essential. Now this is beef gravy, and this is made from an Irish company called Spice of Life. So it's Irish made. They're based in Dunmanway, and their products are just fantastic. They make the Simply Better custard, the poultry gravy, their tartar sauce, all that. They're a wonderful, wonderful company. So we're getting a little bit of colour. I'm not really worried. It's just about combining all the flavours. So just give that a nice stir. And for me, some smoked bacon make everything taste really, really good. Now back goes the mince. So let's pop this all in here. So do it in stages. It doesn't take long to cook, but it's the whole technique of browning the mince, kind of cooking your vegetables, doing a little bit of chopping as you've seen me doing that there, and just keeping the pan nice and high. It's a great dish because I have one cooked but you can make it ahead and you can freeze it. And it's great value, it's full of flavour, and I suppose cook it from scratch, that's something really beautiful and something very, very special. You can get your children involved by chopping the vegetables, you know, you browning the mince. So it's a whole kind of like family experience. Okay, I'm going to put in the tomatoes. So the full can of tomatoes. We're going to put in, I'd say about 2 spoonfuls of this. Now you can always adjust this, of the Worcester sauce. I love it, I have to say. And actually it's really good if you make a Mary Rose sauce. I'll put one more for luck. If you make a Mary Rose sauce with mayonnaise, tomato ketchup and a splash of that and some lemon, it's delicious. Okay, so I think this is the secret ingredient, the Worcester sauce and this beef gravy. So if you think about the ingredients, beautiful Irish vegetables, the very best of Irish meat. We're using the mince here. You can do it with diced beef, but it will definitely take a couple of hours to cook, whereas this will be cooked in about 25-30 minutes. We're using a beautiful Italian tomatoes, and then that lovely kind of sauce that you've seen me using, that beef gravy there. Now, so if you're going to make extra of this, you need either 2 tubs of the beef gravy, or you can put a carton or the same amount of water into it. So this needs to come to the boil. You put the lid on it. I'm going to show you, I have one already cooked. And just keep stirring it. So what happens is you're scraping this. There's no wine, there's no herbs, only at the very end, just a little bit of chopped parsley. So I'm keeping it really, really simple. For example, fresh thyme would work really well at this. A bit of rosemary, bay leaf, but fresh thyme would be beautiful in this. But I wanted to keep it really, really simple. So you bring this to the boil, and the secret into this is to let it cook. It's not like a ragu of beef that they make in Italy where they cook it for 3 or 4 hours. This is done in 30 minutes. It doesn't take that long, but it really depends on the size that you cut your vegetables. That's really, really important. So I'm going to move it to a lower ring. I'm going to take off the lid from the one we've made already. Now, and I'm going to show you this here. So just check that this isn't. So I had this on for about half an hour, and I just want to show you the consistency. So you just let that cook. There's a lovely, shall we say, flavour to this. We're going to season it up, but it's really lovely and moist. It's not a dry hot pot. So some salt. We're going to put in some cannellini beans, which I've just rinsed. This is a full can. You can use butter beans. You can leave them out. I actually saw a recipe with some Heinz beans, which would give a lovely flavour to it too. I am a big fan of them. So that goes in. And we just stir this through, and then we're just going to literally put in some chopped parsley. So we're just going to warm those beans. So these are already cooked. We're going to serve with rice, or you could serve with some mashed potato, or what you could do is you could put this into a dish and maybe put a little bit of cheesy mash over it and bake it into the oven. Now, a little bit of chopped parsley. I'm going to turn this down here. I don't want it to boil, it's cooked. And remember to season it. So if you think it needs more salt, put more salt. If you think it needs a little bit more Worcester, you could use some fresh basil, but again, I'm keeping it really lovely and simple. So just chopping herbs, everyone. I'm using the same knife that I cut my my vegetables, curving my fingers if you can see that. And then we're going to chop it, and we're going to stir this through, or we're going to serve it with rice. I actually really like mince and rice. I also like mince and potatoes, to be honest with you too. So no, the rice is really, really lovely and light. And just literally sprinkle that in, a bit of just some parsley. You can use flat leaf, or you can use the curly parsley. And then just stir that through. So the herbs, I always put a kind of like a soft herb in at the very end. And then you have that seasoned there. So we actually cooked this this afternoon. We were doing other videos, and I just literally warmed it up, and that's it. But that will keep for 4 or 5 days in your fridge. And I love the fact that you can batch cook. When I say that you could put this into little Tupperware containers and freeze it, so you get ahead of yourself. Everyone is busy, so they want to be organized and prepared. We're going to serve this up. So I just want to show you what this one looks like, and this is the cooked one here. Now that's bubbling too fast, so we're going to turn that down. I'll just use this here, and then don't forget to stir it. It will cook up beautifully, so it will. So that's our lovely chopped vegetables in that, and then we're going to serve it with some rice, potatoes, whatever you wish. So we'll put the rice on first. Just literally boil a little bit of rice. I always put a little bit of a stock cube into the water and some salt. That's it. That's up to you. Oh yeah, I'm going to actually put this on top where I can showcase this. Using the ladle then, we're going to bring over our bowl, switch this off, And then you can see the beans. Look at that. You can see the chopped tomatoes, the smoked bacon, the little bit of parsley. So it's very simple, but it is really, really delicious comfort food. And that's it. Simple, full of flavour, using the very best of Irish ingredients, from our beautiful Simply Better Irish mince to the vegetables and those wonderful Italian tomatoes, which are excellent, and that beef gravy from Spice of Life in Dunmanway. So try this, very, very simple and really, really great family favourite. That's my beef hot pot. Thank you so much.